Hey Pete,
Hey Molly, how's it going today?
another great day. Hope you're
Yeah,
having the
it's gonna be
same.
awesome. Let's rock and roll on this topic today. Can't wait to jump in.
I'm really excited about this topic because I am so lucky to be a part of the DU team, and I love the DU team, and I love our culture, and that is exactly what I want to talk about today: is team culture and how that
Awesome.
really influences a business, and how do you communicate that to not only your team but also to your customers. So let's get into it. Tell me about team culture and why it's so important.
Well, I think culture literally, eats strategy and a lot of other things for lunch for many reasons. I know there's books about it, but it started, 15, 20 years ago at this point when I joined a really elite company at my last go around. And I learned so much about team building and culture that when I saw it and I got to experience it, I knew that when I went and built my own company, we had to focus on culture. And at the end of the day, we all want to be part of something bigger. We all want to have each other's backs. We all want to, be moving in the same direction. No one likes to be feeling like they're off on an island and out in left field. And, we want to be connected to something. And so when I felt that, I felt it, right? I felt it go on. I knew that we had to really focus on that. And, no matter how many people told me, like, you have to focus on this is important. It really comes down to you can't do anything great unless you build an awesome team. And, you could be a great solopreneur and you could guide yourself, but there's some really rough days. So even culture is important as an individual, getting up and building what you're surrounding. What are you going to do? What culture do I want? What are my beliefs? Right. And you have to really dive in. And I think it's tough because we work in our businesses so much, we never work on our businesses. But culture has to be purposeful, just like anything else. We've got to intently build awesome culture if we want that. Some people don't care about it. I could tell you it's made a world of difference in my happiness, our employees' happiness, and really our ability to recruit and retain employees as well, which is the key of all of it.
I love that. And you said you have to really understand your belief systems. So, what did you decide on for the core values, and how did you come to that decision?
Yeah. So, I came into Dealers United a little bit differently when we started the Dealers United side of the house. And, Matt Buchanan and Jesse Biter had originally started, and they had kind of a different business model than we are today and a totally different set of core, I call it core values and beliefs. And, unfortunately, we had to pivot the company, or fortunately, whatever you want to call it. And when we did that, I kind of said, look, I'm running this place. It's got to be about me. I'm the entrepreneur leading it. If I don't believe in it and I'm not like inspired by it every day, I can't resonate that with everybody else. Right. So the first thing is, we say this a lot in the CEO forum I'm part of. You have to put your mask on first before you can help others on an airline, right? Like the first thing they tell you is if the oxygen drops, the mask come down. Don't help the baby first. Help you first, because if you pass out, you can't help your baby. And I say the first thing that you have to start is starting with you. What guides you? What inspires you? What are the things that you wake up just completely passionate about? Because as I'm getting amped up right now and you see, it starts resonating with people that you want to either join that, or you're completely like, that is not for me. That guy's freaking me out. And you need that in business. You don't want to have people like, oh, I need a job. You want people that are attracted to what you're doing and want to join the mission with you, right? And that's why mission and vision and values and all of that are so important. If you just have people joining your company, anybody will take a paycheck. We don't need those around to do great things, right? You want people that are going to be self-starters and leaders and everything else along the way. Even though not everybody initially is that type of person, potentially, there's characteristics that either say we're going to work awesome together and we're going to accomplish something bigger together, or it's probably not going to work out and you're going to slow me down. And I want to run fast with you. Let's go, right? And if you're on, I'll bring you along the way. There's going to be some change and some rocky times, but hang in with me and go forward. And so I think a lot of it, for me, I'm uber transparent. You'll see that probably in this interview, and obviously as a teammate here, you've heard a lot of things that probably other companies don't share. I'm just that way, right? Because I believe in that.
What kind of tips or feedback or guidance would you give somebody that's looking around their dealership that's like, I'm not sure about our culture? Like, what is our culture and how do I go about, fixing it or improving it?
Yeah, I think it starts that you have to understand, like, it depends on what position you're in, right? And sometimes you might have to say, this might not be the place for me. You might have to pick a different place to work because you might be in the wrong spot because it's unfixable. Unless the owner, founder, person that's running the company wants a different culture, you might be misaligned, right? And you might be going up a wrong trade. But if you're in a good spot and you know that you have support of your leadership team or your managers or whoever you report to, you can always make change with yourself first, right? You can get up and change your way you behave. You're always in control. It's the number one thing we have as individuals. We control how we wake up and how we approach life. Then we can also, hopefully, if we're in any type of leadership or responsibility role, and even if we're not, if we're just a teammate, we can choose how we show up to those meetings, how we put ourselves out there. I mean, look, Molly, every time you join, you smile, you're bright, you're airy all the time, you're always contributing. I love that about you, right? And so those are the types of things that you want to be. I want to show up in a meeting with you. I'm not like, oh my god, I got to go to a meeting with this girl Molly, and we're not going to have any fun right now. Like we jam in these things, and we're brainstorming, we're thinking about things, and then the thing I love about you is you take it and you execute, right? And as a leader, that's what I'm looking for, because it's like we can have all the ideas in the world, but execution's everything. And you got to be like, I like this idea too. This was either my idea or his idea or our idea collectively because we noodled it and that's the best way. I'm going with this. And so for me, it's just about, can you show up and make your change happen and be guiding and inspiring others around you? Because all of a sudden, if you bring a different tone to the meeting, you are upbeat. People are either going to hate you for it, and then it's a clear signal you shouldn't be there, or they're going to be like, man, why am I not choosing to be like that too? Molly's always like that. I should improve myself. And little by little, sometimes it takes a while to change culture, but sometimes you have to also learn that you have to cut poison to build great culture, and that's the hardest part because I love people. There's not a single person I've ever worked with that I don't like them as an individual. But sometimes we're just not culturally fit. Just like a lot of my ex-girlfriends out there weren't fits for being my life partner, right? And why I married the woman I married, because she was a great fit for all of that. And even though we still have, just like in employee relationships, we still tiff and fight and stuff. There are so many more fun days and things that happen there than not. And that's what I think in all relationships, what we want. We want to feel good about ourselves. We want to move forward. So this is the cool part. We're all humans. We all share the same desires. So we get to choose, are we going to be around those other people that share those same desires with us? And if they are, cool, like you're going to accomplish awesome things together. And if you're not, then you probably should want either cut bait, or you should jump out of the plane yourself and go find some awesome opportunity for yourself as well. Those are just my feelings.
And I completely agree. And I think there's going to be plenty of others that agree too. Let us know in the comments if you have a similar thought process to Pete here. But I kind of want to know, in terms of the business to customer relationship, like how important do you think a culture is to a customer, and how does improving your culture help improve that customer relationship?
Yeah, there was a saying to me before I got married that really resonated with me. It was happy wife, happy life. And I thought to myself, I said, man, that doesn't just apply to my relationship with my wife and my life. It really is happy employee equals happy customer, and happy customer equals happy employee. And again, the same thing, your customers can ruin your culture. Unfortunately, I've had to fire a few customers. It sucks. It's the worst. It's revenue. You never want to do that. But if it's literally poison, just like an employee is, it's got to go because it's holding you down. It's a weight. And so what I've been trying to do, and you hear a lot of, a lot of successful people that I follow, is you have to learn how to say no to certain things, unfortunately. And over time, it doesn't mean that you don't like someone, doesn't mean that they're not valuable in other areas, but it's holding everybody back from doing something greater together. And unfortunately, that is part of culture as well. And so for me, it's very symbiotic between customer and employee, and hopefully you're putting out the vibes. You don't want to be someone internally that you're not externally. So for me, I don't want to be fake. I am who I am. And I always tell people, I'm sorry, like you either like me or you don't. And I can't help you on that because that's just me. And I'm not going to change me to try to be some Instagram story person or whatever. I'm just doing what I do. And either you're attracted and want to join what I'm doing and let's go have fun together, or it's just not for you. And that's okay. But I know when I'm working with the people I'm with, I trust them. We have fun. We're doing things. And if that narrative changes, either it's a customer or not, then unfortunately, we all have choices in life. We can move on. And I'd encourage, that it's a hard thing, but sometimes breaking off frees you up to focus on the things that make you happier. And we've had that same thing. I mean, most everybody can relate to unless you only had one relationship in your life, but you've probably had to break up with someone or you've been broken up with. And it's like, I remember when I was really young, it was like life changing for me at that point. It was like, oh my God, my whole world's over, and my heart broke and sunk and did everything. But man, I look back, and if I had done that and I look at my life, it would be totally different. I would never have the life I have now, where I'm really supported. I have a great, family structure. I have a great, business structure that's around. And that's I'm grateful because I went through that kind of, I'll call it failure, but that really was important to a lot of it. So I think a lot of it is just really like, don't be stuck in the rat race, right? If you're stuck in the rat race and you feel like you're a rat and you're just getting a paycheck, you're probably not feeling as valuable as you should be, and you're probably not being the best employee. You're probably not being the best to your kids or your spouse or whatever along the way. And all that changes once you create some, a happier life, and that includes your work and your life balance.
Yeah, I had a really great conversation with Casey Jenkins of Jenkins and Wynn at the
Awesome.
end of August, and she talked all about culture. And we were talking specifically on tactics for improving our fixed ops businesses, which it was really great to see that the conversation kind of pivot into investing in your team allows your team to invest in your customers. So if you want to catch that replay, I'll put it in the comments right now. But I really love that idea of you got to take care of your team so they can take care of your customers. And that's, you're going to see the impact on your bottom line on the other side.
Yeah, and it's so critical because again, we're talking about the automotive ecosystem here, and let's face it, it's brick and mortar local business at the end of the day, and it's all about the community. And you're either going to have a really bad reputation, and no one's going to want to work for you, or you're going to have a great reputation. And again, most franchise dealers specifically have been put in the spot where they've done a lot of things right because they're in business, and the franchise gave them the ability to buy the franchise and everything else. And they're usually pretty good as a whole. But again, it's, have you been investing in your people? Are you showing up every day yourself? Are you burnt out? Are you doing these things? Sometimes I have to not attend meetings because I know I'm not in the right headspace, where I'm going to totally take the team down a bad path, right? And so it's being self-aware, it's doing those types of things. But I love working with dealers because they get it, and they're usually very driven on people. And again, when you're a people person, and that's usually anybody that's in the service-based business, you love dealing with people. If you're servicing a car, you're selling a car, you're dealing with service, right? You're servicing a customer's needs, and you like to talk to them and make sure that they feel great about their purchase. So we need to make sure we're taking that same thing though to our employees, and then we're not just saying, "Hey, here's some keys, go sell," because they're not equipped. So culture goes into training and how we onboard and how we make them feel and what their experience is along the way, and do they wear our logo the right way, and all of that kind of stuff, and making sure they have the brand that we want to create in general, without being, I would say, robots at the end of the day. If you bring really great people in, we have grown personally because it's from the people we brought in, not from my ability to go think about all the things on there. It's people have taken it in whole different ways, just like you're doing right now with this whole Learn It Live series. You're taking the initiative on here. Like, I think we got a great idea. I'd love to go do it. And it's improving so many things because of it. And we're transferring knowledge a lot faster because of the tools like this. So I love it.
Well, thank you. I hope you guys are getting some good stuff out of it because I know I am too. Let's pivot that digital side to more of a marketing and advertising strategy. How do we, and I know you've already answered this in previous videos, but how do we translate our culture into a digital marketing strategy to connect with our customers and maintain that relationship for life?
For me, it's all about the people you got. I mean, at the end of the day, you have amazing people that work for you. Just like, Molly could come up and say, "Oh, I need to do this, Learn It Live." And I'm like, "Well, I'll host it and I'll do all this." She's capable of doing all of this stuff, and she's awesome on camera. And she's actually learning so much more and is going to do way better. So it's just trusting and instilling your people that you've hired to go do great things. And like, again, we talk about opportunities to merchandise better. Well, we know a sales rep can walk up and talk about the F-150 all day long, right, to a customer. But are they doing that online? Are they going out and like publicizing and doing things under your page and going out there and doing walkarounds every day and talking about the new cars that came in stock and really like getting energetic about the product that that person loves and sells and does all of that stuff? Or are we kind of taking an approach like, well, I don't know if Tommy's like camera ready. He's not well spoken. I don't like his grammatical, approach to things. Well, he's the one that's representing your dealership once they're on the lot. Why wouldn't you amplify that out? Because people that resonate with him are going to come do business with him and ultimately you, right? So it's about taking a deeper dive in and say, well, if you don't have the right people, then you don't have the right people, right? You could change that over time. It's not a rip a band-aid and he goes and he's a specialist. Maybe he takes a different role and you hire someone else to supplement that. Other dealerships have hired in talent and have actually built some internal, marketing parts of it that are focusing on content and using partners like ourselves to go and target people properly and set up the funnels, the metrics, go spend the money and to make the action happen. But they're thinking about how they want their brand to be perceived. What's the customer experience? How do we tell that customer experience so they're aware of all the value that we have along the way? Your website's got a ton of great stuff on it, but no one knows about it on Facebook because you're not proactively telling them, hey, we'll pay more for your trade. We offer free car washes for life. We do 3-day loaner cars if you need. If you're ever in service and we have to do it, you're going to get a great loaner if you still do those, right? So at the end of the day, it's like, what are your value propositions? Who are the people that tell it already? And to me, it's just about asking people to, again, if you ask people, hey, would you like to do more? Most people that I found don't ever come to me and say, well, I'll do it if you give me more money. Of course, they want more money over the long haul. Everybody wants to make more money, but they really just want to feel more valuable and they want to do more things that are helping the ultimate company and brand succeed because then it creates more people we can hire that are friends with them and they can say, oh my God, I'm friends with this person. They want to work here too, but we don't have a position. But if we just grow, that person maybe be able to be hired here. Now I work with my friend and that type of thing creates there. So again, there's a lot of little hacks to put together culture. But it starts by first, like, do you even know what your culture is? Do you even know what the definition of that is? And that's okay if you don't. Google's awesome. There's tons of videos out there. Watching stuff like this will give you some things to start thinking about, and then start putting that together and write out, like, how do I want people to feel, and how do I want my customers to feel, my employees to feel? What's the experience that I'm trying to create? All that backs into your culture, quite frankly, and that really becomes your strategy.
Yeah, no, that all really resonates. So let's wrap this up here. What kind of resources or books do you recommend? You said jump on Google and do some searching, but has there been anything that really has been impactful to you in defining culture?
Yeah, I mean, I think Zappos Delivering Happiness was one of the first books that we read at my last company and did the tour out at Zappos. If you're ever out in Vegas, I know many dealers travel to Vegas. They have a tour out there. Really, again, focusing in. You watch the Amazon approach, right? You don't really talk to many people at Amazon, but they deliver such amazing customer experience at the end of the day. They say they're going to do something, they do it most of the time, right? I'm going to have your package there in 2 days, the other day in a day, there in a day or in 2 days. You get tracking and this and that, just relook through things. But I think like books like Delivering Happiness and other ones that come up around there are really great starting points to think about culture and employee experience and customer experience. And I'm a huge fan of Pat Lencioni. He's a great business coach that's out there, and he's written the Advantage and 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. So again, are you investing in things that are around team building beyond just like how to run a process of getting a customer in the door? It's like, how do you make people feel when they come into work? How do you remove confusion? How do you become better in your objective management, right? So all of those things are where I kind of spend a lot of time thinking about, and there's tons of those books that I can share with you. I'm a huge fan. I probably read 50, 60 books at least a year. Don't really read them. I listen to them on Audible, but again, they all influence your kind of decision. You'll realize after like the 13th one, they're pretty much all the same thing. It's like, focus on the human experience, right? Like, we're all humans, H to H, human to human. That's what it's about. It's not business to business or consumer to business or business to consumer. It's about human to human. And once we break it down to that and say, okay, how would I want to feel? How would I want to, be treated? How would I want to do things? How would I want opportunity if I was in that position? And putting yourself in the other person's shoes, like the customer or the employee, you really start thinking differently, and it makes you a little bit more well-rounded. So those are the things that I would just focus on personally. And then it's really just taking that step forward and knowing that you can make change by just changing your actions and the way that you show up to work every day, because it all starts there.
It does. It really, really does. Well, it all starts with you letting us know if you have any questions. So put those in the chat right now. We'll get to them. And, stay tuned for more of these videos. It's been a really joy to put them together. And if you have any suggestions for future topics, let us know too. We would love to keep educating and sharing our joy and our knowledge. So thanks again, Pete. Your enthusiasm is totally palpable, and let's keep going.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Everybody, have a good time. Focus on culture, right? Focus on yourself. Enjoy it. Be happy. Smiles are free. Use them. Talk to you soon.
Bye.